passing time. Talking about dreams that never fade. Skates on ice, we watch the parade. Life's a game and we're in the rink. Laughing hard, don't care what they think.
And let's go. Welcome back to Two Bored Ladies, episode number 11.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of messed up last week.
Yeah, counting.
Yeah.
Really? Not our
Yeah,
strong
and we were
suits.
all excited because it was episode 10 because we have double digits. Yet I said episode 9, and you didn't disagree.
Oh,
with
I
me.
didn't argue. No. And then when I listened to episode 9, we clearly said, hey, it's episode 9.
Yeah.
Like, we
Yeah.
went through all the motions.
And then our production assistant or unpaid intern said it really messed him up when he heard episode 9. And he's like, am I doing the right one? I'm like, yeah, messed up.
It's true. It's, whatever.
Yeah, so I'm Karen.
And I'm Angie.
Yeah.
Hey, we're the Two Bored Ladies.
Yeah. Except we're not behind the boards today.
No, that's right. Do you want to share a little bit about where we are today?
We're sitting in my kitchen / living room, kitchen, dining room. It's just one room.
No walls. It's
No
just
walls.
this open concept mansion they live in
Yeah.
here. So big. Like 4,000 square feet, 7
Oh my
bedrooms, 6
gosh.
washrooms.
I want to clean that.
Oh, that'd be awful, eh?
Yeah. Well, although, if you're having a house that big, you
Probably
get somebody clean it for you.
Unless you spent all your money on
On a
house.
Yeah, it's also quite possible. No, it's not
that's not
massive,
true.
But our kitchen table came with us to this house, and from a house that we had way more rooms, so our kitchen table is a little too big for this area.
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
agree
you
with
can't-
that.
No, I do. Because you can't, pull the chairs back. Like, it's tight. I'd like it just a little bit
I
smaller.
would call it cozy.
Maybe a half a foot smaller.
I don't know. This seems like the appropriate size table,
Okay,
in my
perfect.
opinion. Yeah.
So we're here.
So
No
enough of that,
skating.
Karen says.
No skating this week. No skating next week.
No,
Next week is our
yes.
March break, spring break.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're gathering here, and we're going to have a couple of guests today.
Yes, we have a special feature for our listeners that we've decided. Yes, so our opening here will be a little bit shorter than normal so that we can give the appropriate amount of time to our guests. And I guess we're kind of highlighting women and volunteerism in the community.
Because both of them are hardcore.
They are hardcore and have full families and professional and jobs or. Oh, well, I mean, staying
Very
at
busy
home
lives.
mom is incredibly busy. I can't even fathom it.
does.
I don't know how she does it.
I
So
was a
we'll
better
ask
mom
her
by going
though.
to work, I found.
You were what?
I
Sorry.
was a better mom by going to work. I didn't
Yeah,
have enough patience to stay home.
yeah, I would agree with that for
Yeah.
me too.
Not
Yeah.
that I didn't. Actually, I often think I would have loved to have, stay at home and be that mom, but I just didn't have enough patience.
No, it takes a special person.
Absolutely.
Without
yeah,
doubt.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so that's all. That's upcoming.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we do our usual and then sort of just cut to the chase here?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm too sexy for this cat. Too sexy for this cat. Poor pussy cat. I'm too sexy for this week. Weekend review.
Okay, so
feel
I
good
thought
about
you
that.
were going to go into, when you say cat, I thought maybe that was going to be cast, this podcast.
Oh,
I
that
didn't
would have
see
been
it that
good.
way.
No.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No,
I like that one.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. You thought about that one.
I did.
Yeah.
I did
So-
give that some thought. So, weekend review. What happened this week? Work happened this
Work, yeah.
week. It was a bit of we finished up skating
Yep.
last week. For the winter session, there will be a spring session, so we will be back at the rink.
Maybe.
Um,
How long is that session? Is it 4 weeks? 5
something
weeks?
like that, 4 or 5 weeks, I think.
Okay.
And Miss Becky's doing speed skating, so we can talk to her about that too,
Oh, yeah.
because, my God, I don't know how
Who's
she does
gonna
it.
do that?
She is.
No, but why would somebody want to do that?
Oh, no, did I say speed skating?
Yeah.
A lot of
So
the
that's
hockey players,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, and then what else did I do? That we got together on the weekend,
We
did we?
did.
Yeah, games night.
Yeah.
And we played Telestrations After Dark,
Yep.
thanks to Dana, which it was worth a few laughs
It
there.
was worth
yeah.
a few laughs. We
Absolutely.
discovered that Brenda's husband Troy is an artiste.
Oh my god!
I didn't know.
But
he
it was
an artiste.
really putting us like he was a traffic jam though,
Yeah,
because he spent so much time on his tracks.
But
But-
his attention to detail was
But worth it.
Yeah, he's strong.
And then I guess the last thing I would mention from a work perspective is I verbally accepted verbally accepted an exciting new opportunity, but maybe I'll go into that more in a different episode. Because it's only verbal right now.
Yep, you never know.
I could just get kicked to the side.
You could. That would be, maybe, should we go back and re-record over that, just in case you do?
Well, no,
I'm
I
just
want to
kidding.
relive
I'm
it.
just
Every
kidding.
time I listen to it, it's like a big open wound at that point. Okay, so that's my week. How about yourself?
Yeah, well, my week is similar to yours. We had our last skating on Thursday, Friday. Lauren and Sheldon and their friends Sarah and Ava headed up to Churchill along with Alistair.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the kids went up to Churchill for their hockey day in Churchill. So they take the train. They leave here at 11:30.
Yeah.
And then they arrived in Churchill around 7 or 8.
8:30. Yeah.
Which, it's less than 300 kilometers, but that's how long it takes them on the train
Yep.
because of the, slowdowns and whatnot. So they try and sleep on the train. They weren't in a sleeper car or anything, but try and sleep in the train. They get off, and then they head over to the rec center. And the cool thing about Churchill is they have everything under the one roof in the rec center.
Yeah.
They have their school, their swimming pool, their
Hospital,
hockey,
daycare.
Yeah, everything's in there. It's really
Yeah.
cool. And I mean, that's not. I think that's kind of typical for northern communities to have so you're not having to go outside.
Especially with the polar bears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
polar bears big there. But yeah, so they went up. They said they had a good day. Lauren, the kids skated in between some of the hockey games. How did Alistair do? Did they win?
They won both of their games.
Nice.
Alistair got a couple of assists. He was pretty excited about that because he's a defensive defenseman.
Yeah.
So offense isn't his bag. But yeah, they did good. I didn't hear how the other age groups did. Tara said that I can't remember now if it was Isla or Natalie who scored, but one of her kids scored, and yeah, they had a really good time.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, I think sleeping was a little bit. Alistair told me he just bent over in half and slept the first time, and then on the way home they realized that the seats went back.
Oh. Yeah.
But I think fun was had by all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Lauren's being older, Lauren and their friends, they headed out and they explored a little bit, and they went to a couple of gift shops, and they actually got to go out to a restaurant, and they sat and had supper, and actually or lunch or something. But Lauren said the funny thing was in the rec center they have a canteen downstairs, and they had bannock dogs. So Lauren was like, "Oh my God, bannock dogs!" So Lauren went and bought one for themselves and one for Sheldon. But Lauren was like, I guess, they're trying to raise money, but it was half a hot dog and it was $6.
ooh,
And then they went upstairs, and the great thing about this, oh my God, it's snowing.
I know, and I think it's the icy snows. So I'm not looking forward to driving 14 hours tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, we'll see. If it's not
Yeah.
nice out, we don't go.
Well, yeah, anyways, so Lauren said they went upstairs, and the nice thing about these events is they usually put out food for the kids. So Lauren goes upstairs, and there's tons of hot dogs and some other food. So they're like, I just paid $6 for a bannock dog. And then, I go upstairs and there was free hot dogs.
I didn't
So
know
they
there
ate
was a
that twice.
canteen downstairs.
Well, that's what they said. Oh my God, it sounds like our guests are arriving early.
Oh.
So, Chris is going to get the
Oh,
go for
thank
us.
you, Chris. Okay, well, I think that was pretty much.
Yeah. That was our week, yeah.
Oh, how did Lauren's routine go, though?
They said they weren't overly happy with it. They messed up one of
Oh.
the spins. But I mean, Lauren's very, hard on themselves, as are all our kids. But yeah, other than that, they had a good time. They said it was worth the trip.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
right.
on that note, we'll wrap up, and when we come back, we've got a special treat for our listeners. It's a guest.
Yay!
Okay.
Attention collectors and enthusiasts looking for the ultimate custom collectibles? It's Patch Madness. Custom trading cards for sport to non-sport, relic cards, and even stickers. If you can dream it, we can create it. Reach out today at twoboredladies24@gmail.com for your personalized masterpiece. Patch Madness, where your passion becomes a card.
All right, welcome back to Two Bored Ladies. We got
Karen?
Angie.
And Becky. Miss Becky.
Miss Becky. Welcome, Miss Becky.
Thank you for having me.
Woo, we're so
I
happy.
said congratulations. I meant welcome. I don't know if I picked up congratulations, but congratulations on being here. You're so privileged.
Yeah,
I feel privileged.
okay. Well, we're well-seasoned hosts,
Yeah.
so this is gonna go great.
We didn't traumatize Brenda too much. I think she did okay.
Yeah, she's pretty used to us.
She is now.
Okay, so, all right, so we kind of talked a little bit about, in the first segment when you weren't here yet, how we were focusing on women. That's sort of been the conversation with it being Women's Day at the beginning of the month. So strong women, women that are in leadership positions, which is you, but also we wanted to focus on volunteerism and the importance it has in our community. So we've talked a little bit about Gillam in past segments and the importance it has to us. Obviously, volunteering drives what happens in the community and what's available, right? So you're a strong contributor to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, so maybe just to start, well, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? How long you've been here, whatever you want to share.
Okay. Oh, geez. I've been in Gillam for coming up 20 years.
20 years.
On Halloween, it'll be 20 years.
Moved up on Halloween.
Yeah.
It's for a day to
We
move.
came in October too,
Yeah.
on the 18th. Just throw that out there.
Karen likes
I like
Karen's
to go into
tidbits.
conversation.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's an interesting fact for your listeners. Our first daughter was born in August. So, Abby believes she was conceived on the 280, which is not true, but that is what she tells everybody.
As she should, because that is awesome.
Yeah. So my husband and I moved here in 2005, and then we had Abby in 2006. And then we were also blessed with twins, just like Karen, and that is a real blessing. I mean, everybody can be a mom, but not everybody can be a mom of twins.
110%.
Yeah.
I'll never forget you carting the boys into the Gen North building, and they were dressed in like bear costumes, and I
Was
can't
it
remember
the
if it was.
monkey maybe for
Yeah,
Halloween?
monkeys. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So their nicknames, like, did you guys ever watch the Dora the Explorer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then Dave, so the Bobos,
Oh, yeah.
those bad monkeys.
Yeah.
That was like their nickname the minute that show came out.
Oh,
was
that's
the
fantastic.
Bobos.
I
Yeah.
love Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, me too. Liz.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abby loved it.
And Gabby looked a lot like Dora because he looked like a bob cut with bangs. She couldn't
Abby
get
had
away
one of
from
those
it.
too. Yeah.
I really like Diego though with his rescue pack. Come to the rescue. So good.
That's as good as
Just catchy,
Dora.
whatever, man. It's
Yeah.
music.
Anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to say really.
Okay.
I've worked for. I don't know. Did you guys say where you work?
Yeah, I've said where
Yeah. So I mean, essentially, there's only a few places in town to work. So I'm at one of those places. Been
Yeah.
there for 20 some years too. I took a little bit of an extension when I had the boys, like a leave extension, and yeah, I don't know. So I guess, like, just leading to this volunteerism thing here, for me, it was all about initially starting to meet people.
Yeah, it's a
So
great way
that's
to do
kind of
it,
what
yeah.
got me started into volunteering. And I mean, I think as a kid, we always kind of, help out here and there, but you don't really truly understand what volunteerism is and the impacts until you kind of get to be an adult and then really see what it is. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Gillam's my home now, so we've been here longer than I grew up in my hometown. So even though I consider it my hometown, this is actually my hometown.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So grew up on a farm, so completely different from like nothing.
What kind of
Yeah.
farm? Grains, cattle, hay?
Cattle and mixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So my dad had a feedlot, and then we grew up with horses, chickens, pigs, all that.
Does your
stuff
dad
around
still
there.
have a farm?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he doesn't do the rest of it. I call it the rest of it. Like, he doesn't do chickens, pigs, all that kind of stuff anymore, but he still has cattle.
Okay.
Yeah. Not as many as he used to, but still has quite a few. So
It's a lot of work still, right?
yeah,
Cal?
yeah. If you were to talk to my dad, he would tell you he's like busiest man of southwestern Minnesota. So, yeah.
Right
You know
on.
what? And I have friends that are farmers, and I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
they're busy people, and they'll tell you they're busy people.
Yeah.
And they're always poor.
Well,
Even
being a
bumper
farmer,
year. But even on a
man.
bumper year, God forbid.
Well, you're
They're
still
not-
making up from the years where it
but they'll never
wasn't.
admit they had a good year.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean,
And I mean,
and
I
the
don't
weather's never good either.
No, and I don't want their job. I couldn't do it.
No,
But, you know, I'm sure Trace is listening. Bernard, come on now.
I always get a kick out of like how hard the work is, right? And I mean, I'm not saying that I worked harder than anybody else, but when I was a kid, we didn't have a quad. We didn't have the bale processor that shreds for the bedding.
Yeah.
Like, all that was done by hand.
Yeah.
And then after, you know, I leave, then suddenly it's like, oh, we have a quad and a wagon with all these chop pails. It's like,
Well,
what?
somebody's
What?
got
That's
to
not
know
even
Becca's
work.
gone.
That's no different than our parents getting dishwashers after we move out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents still don't have a dishwasher.
Oh,
That was
wow.
my dad's early. I used a dishwasher, but
But no, farming's crazy, and it's, I mean, so necessary. Like, it's so important, right?
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's a really good start. Do you want to? I've got the questions printed because I felt like
Okay.
you might need that.
Well, yeah. Because, you know, Karen can't, you know, focus.
No, you can.
Yeah, not
Just-
well, sometimes.
yeah, I can't do that.
So I guess, you know, we've talked a little bit about the stuff we've done with you. Obviously, you know, with the skating you've done tons, and now the travel club with us, but you're on a bunch of other stuff. Do you want to share a little bit of the, you know, the groups that you're in town or things you're supporting here in Gillam?
Sure. So of course, like I had to make a list because I
Yeah.
just couldn't.
Because it's so long. Because you do so much.
And we don't realize, I guess, until you wrote it down, how much you actually have done.
Honestly, and then there was
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I did that too. So okay, so outside of skating and the travel club, I'm also on the Gillam School Advisory Council.
That's right.
So and then also on the Junior Canadian Rangers Adult Committee. So those are the 4 things that I have going on
In the moment.
at the moment.
Yeah.
So Abby will soon be aging out of the Junior Canadian Ranger program, so I have made the choice to step back from that program. So just newly out there, as of yesterday, I made
Oh, wow.
that decision. So somebody else with some kids in the program can help
makes
take
sense.
over.
Yeah.
Fantastic program. So hopefully,
Oh,
you know, we
absolutely.
can keep that going.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what that is? What
Yeah,
are the
because
Junior
I have
Canadian
family in
Rangers?
Ireland that don't know what
Oh
it is.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So the Junior Canadian Rangers is, I guess, a branch of the military. I mean, from what I know of it, and it's kind of like I don't know if you'll call it a sub branch of the Canadian Rangers. So the Canadian Rangers, their job is, should there ever be military support or action in the north, their job is to help the military survive and function. So a lot of their training is like land-based skills. So they do a lot of like, they call them field training exercises. So it's all like snowmobiles, boats, camping in cold weather, that kind of stuff. So they're supposed to be the experts in that. So then
Okay.
if the regular military or whatever they're called would then have to come to the north, then the Rangers would be called in to support them.
Because they're local experts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Rangers are also called in sometimes for like search and rescue, like things like that too. So because they are supposed to be those experts, knowing the land, terrain, all that kind of stuff, right?
So we didn't touch on this yet, I don't think. But were they called into action when the murderers were on the loose up here?
I think they were.
Yeah?
I'm not sure to what extent, but I'm not 100% sure because of the safety around that.
Right. Yeah, I guess.
yeah.
But I think that they were
Okay.
part of that. Yeah. So so essentially the Junior Ranger program is, you know, to try to get kids involved. So they do a lot of like land-based training, I mean, they have, I'm trying to think now. So there's ranger skills, life skills, and then land-based skills. Those are the 3 skills that they learn. So the ranger skills are, we'll say, more the political type stuff. Like they learn how to do drill and the marching and all that
okay.
kind of stuff so they can participate parades, Remembrance Day. And then land-based is just like we just talked about. So, you know, they get out on the land, they learn fire building, shelter building, things like that. And then life skills, they do different activities. So they do sewing, cooking, those kinds of things. So, and it's for kids aged 12 and up. So it's kind of like a feeder program, if
Yeah.
you will, for the Canadian Rangers. So once the kids age out at age 19, then they have the option. They can either be done with the program or they have the option to then apply with the Canadian Rangers. So, yeah.
And if you don't apply with the Canadian Rangers or go into it's just great basic skills, right?
Absolutely.
Like Karen, your kids participated, right?
Lauren and Kate not so much, but Gabby was in it for a
Yeah.
few years. Yeah, and she did a few events, like a few of the outdoor land-based stuff and marching drills. And I remember when I believe it was Brady Paulson that brought it into town.
Yes.
And I remember going when they had their first kind of presentation to the community, and they did some marching drills. And was it in the arena or
I
was it
believe so.
outside? But I just
Yeah, in the
remember
arena.
getting goosebumps and getting a lump in my throat just watching all of those young kids like doing the marching and being so good at it and following the orders. And I was just like, oh, that's so cool.
Same way, it
Yeah.
always kind of gives me goosebumps, or I don't know, if
There's
maybe
some
almost a little bit
pride or something.
emotional.
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
watching them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it was
very
really
cool.
good. So my boys were also in the program too. My kids, especially Abby, has had like tons of opportunities. She's traveled to I can't even remember all the places that she's been able to travel to. So every summer they do field training exercises out on Vancouver Island, and all of my kids have participated in those. Abby's been to Whitehorse. She's been to Winnipeg. She just recently was in Vernon.
What did she get?
Yeah.
Brag about her?
I'm
Come
totally
on,
going to brag a
Mama.
little bit. So
Yep.
she was awarded the King's Coronation Medal, so King Charles III. So just a little bit about that, I guess. I mean, I'm not even 100% familiar with it, but it was my understanding that the military had so many of those medals reserved for them to be presented for whoever in the military that was
Okay.
doing things, and then some of that got broken down to the Junior Canadian Rangers and the Canadian Rangers. So, so the medal was given to her for her community involvement and impacts that she's had.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so she has been, she's very humble, but she definitely is a leader, and she's been recognized as a leader. They have rankings in the Junior Canadian Rangers as well, so she's been I hope I get it right, I think it's called the Master Corporal of our patrol for the last few years, and she's won lots of different awards and definitely recognized, stands out wherever she goes for helping and leading people and just kind of stepping in and taking charge. So, yeah, she probably gets that from me. But
I was going to say, it flows down, right? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Setting
I
that
remember
example.
seeing her at the school when she was when I went to the school for the Remembrance Day service a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and she was just rounding up all the kids, and she just got them into line. She had no qualms about telling them what to do, just very strong, yeah,
Confident.
It was very,
Yeah.
There's-
it was awesome
she has a
to see that.
confidence about her for
yeah,
sure.
she
Yeah.
actually at the Remembrance Day service, the community one, I kind of actually told her maybe tone it down a bit because it was kind of whoa, I don't even know where that's coming from, but that might be considered a bit harsh, but yeah, I had to tell her to tone it down a bit there, but yeah,
That's
so,
pretty cool.
Right?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we so this is what we do. We go
Yeah.
off on these
Yeah, that's
tangents.
okay.
So,
We cut off your
so
list.
4 big ones now, right? And,
Yeah.
and we only briefly touched on the skating, but we know, and we talked a
Yeah.
little bit before you got here about how you're doing power skating this spring.
Yes.
And whatnot. But yeah, keep on going. Sorry.
Yeah, okay, so in the past, I've done Ducks Unlimited was one that I did.
right,
Nelson
yeah.
River Firefighters Rodeo Committee when I came to town. Prior to that, I volunteered for the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, which is the curling. I think you guys talked
Oh,
about
yeah,
curling
yeah,
in one of your
yeah.
episodes, so that's the provincial playdowns. And when I worked in southern Manitoba, it was being held in the community that I was
Oh, cool.
working in. So, and it was actually one of the people I worked with at the time that said, hey, this is a great opportunity to meet people. And I have a friend that I met at that event that I obviously didn't know beforehand, and to this day still talk to her all the time.
That's pretty
so,
cool, right?
sometimes it's just those people where you just connect with,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but aside from that, there's always little things going on around town, like the odd curling bonspiel or hockey tournament, or I don't even know what stations tournaments,
Yeah.
work in the bar here, there. I feel like we're the community bartenders sometimes, so
yeah,
You take the
absolutely.
late shift, we take the early shift.
I feel like we should actually get outfits.
Oh my gosh.
Like we should, you know, because
We actually talked about that.
We did, yeah.
Like
I mean,
even if it's just like, I mean, I don't know, like.
I'm
I'm
we're
not
gonna be
going
matchers soon because we've got a special gift for you for coming out.
Oh, no, my God, that's
So we could be
hilarious,
matchers there. But
it's funny because so many people are like, "Oh, where do you work in the bar for this time?"
Yeah.
It's like one of these days I'm just gonna work it for myself. I'm just gonna be a bartender. But I
it's
honestly
awesome.
love working the bar.
It's a lot of fun.
me
Yeah,
too.
it's a
Yeah.
good time. Normally, anyway, it's a really
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there could be more out there, but those are kind of the notable ones
Right.
that I've spent some
Well,
time on. So
I'm also going to throw out because I work in the same building as Miss Becky, right? So Miss Becky is also involved in almost everything that happens in that building as
Oh.
well. So, and I mean, maybe not always by choice.
I was just gonna say I don't think that's actually.
But I
by
think that
choice.
we need to acknowledge that too, because
Well,
I mean
thank
that
you
takes
for
energy
that.
and time as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, you always seem to be at
Well,
the.
you've been there for a long time too, so some of the things I should actually start redirecting your way because
And she's like, nope,
Whoa,
stop
whoa,
it right now.
whoa,
Get
let's draw a
off
line here.
yeah. It's like, do I have like building maintenance written across my forehead or? Like,
You're just more personable than me. I feel like I've taken, and I don't know that she would mind, but I feel like I've taken Chris's grumpy old lady persona in the building, and I've just like taken
don't
it
know if
over.
I'd
Like
say
I
that.
freaked out at people at the doorbell the other day. I'm just like, what are
oh,
you
don't get me
doing?
started on the doorbell.
And I love Chris so much, but I just feel like I'm just, anyway, not
There
quite
are
as
some days,
approachable.
like, oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys. I mean, yeah, I know you guys have had the odd F-bomb come out
Oh,
here, but some
yeah.
days I'm sitting at my desk and it's like, what in the actual? It's like ding 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 ding.
I know.
And it's like,
why?
we heard it the first time.
Yep.
Like, and we're not all sitting here just ready to jump to the pump. Like,
Yeah.
half of us don't even know. I mean, actually, probably 95% of us don't even know you're coming to the building.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the rules. You got to make arrangements with whoever you're coming to see to let you in the building. And it's
Open
like,
something up.
God.
All right, that's our next episode when we bring you on doorbells. All right, so
Great.
all right, so you kind of shared a little bit about what got you into volunteerism, which is getting out, meeting people, the
Yeah.
social aspect to it. Was there anything else? And then also curious, just how has it shaped your perspective on the importance of community involvement?
Is this question number 2?
It
So I
is,
can keep
yeah.
following with my notes
Yeah.
here.
We did give Becky the notes ahead of time, just
Yeah.
so
Ex-
you weren't.
except for
like,
the last
yeah.
two
Yeah,
questions.
because I'm not as quick thinking as they are. So, I'm just going to say, I feel like what has really, truly inspired me through all of the volunteerism is for the kids. And I got into this for my kids.
Right.
So, like, if you go through the list of things that I did before, those are pretty much all adult things, and I still do some adult things, but generally it's fundraising for the kids. So, just living here, and I don't know if it's Gillen because we're, like, remote community, or if other communities, I'm sure they probably go through the same thing. But I really see where the kids need a lot of extra help, and it kind of brings into that saying, it brings a village to raise,
Absolutely.
raise
Yep.
kids,
Totally
right?
agree.
So I don't know, that's really my inspiration behind
That's awesome.
volunteering, because I mean sometimes you don't want to deal with the parents, but you're there for the kids.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think
that's
that
awesome.
shines through on the ice too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, your patience with 50 kids on the ice is pretty awesome, and I mean you've built a pretty good group of PAs that all want to come back too, and I think that
Honestly,
all has to
like
do
all
with
of the kids, like like it might sound weird as a coach to say this, but you just love them. Like they've all got their quirks, they've all got their something going on, but it's just, and especially like my older kids, like I've had them so long now in Star that it's like, if I'm getting an eye roll, it's like I know what it's for, and you kind of joke about it a little bit, right? And it's like you got some younger kids where they're telling you what to do, and it's kind of like you're just still trying to figure out those waters on
Yep.
on where their interests are and what's actually going on, kind of thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and how to motivate them.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and then still trying to keep that coach hat on, right, where you have to be respectful, and so
Absolutely.
yeah, it's definitely for the kids for sure.
That's awesome.
It's like highlight of my days mostly. Yeah.
There's so much patience.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if my kids would tell you that though.
But it's
Well,
different
you can have
deal
it with other people's kids. I don't know.
to some extent, yeah. Because I would hit a line. I think a lot sooner than you seem to hit a line. Because I've
Yeah.
never seen you really get frustrated with the kids out on the ice.
Well, you know what, and I don't know what it is. I guess maybe it's my like on the ice, like maybe my passion for skating. Because let me tell you, like I would not want to work at a daycare. Like that is no, you couldn't pay me enough to go do that.
Yeah,
So
no,
Or
I
to
hear
be honest
ya.
with you,
Yeah.
like even out
Yeah.
of school, like I don't know if I could actually handle that. Like,
Yeah, no, it's fair.
but I mean, I feel like especially with the older ones, it's like once they get to that stage, they're there because they want to be there.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know,
yeah.
and that
yeah.
makes a big difference. It's not like you're pulling teeth to get
Yeah.
kids to do stuff, right? So I
That's
think
true.
that it's almost like you just share that same interest or whatever, right? So yeah.
Yes, you, Chris.
Bless you, Chris. It's okay. So we're at about 20 minutes, and I think this works perfect because we can take a break and we can come back and finish our interview with Becky.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay, we'll be right back.
Feeling stuck? At Coaching with Karen, we believe the answers you need are already within you. Whether it's life, wellness, or career guidance, Karen is here to help you uncover your path and move forward with confidence. Because a better tomorrow starts with the right support today. So visit us at coachingwithkaren@gmail.com to take your first step. And that's coaching with a K.
Why are you pointing at me?
We're on the air.
Welcome back to part 3. Yeah, so let's continue our conversation, and it's my turn to ask a question, and mine is going to be, what would you say is the most unexpected or heartwarming experience you've had while volunteering?
Okay, so there's always many unexpected experiences. When you're working with little kids like 4 to 7-ish, I mean, this whole experience with coaching has made me really wonder what like nursery school teachers hear from their kids. Because some of the stuff we hear from kids, so that's really unexpected. Like some of it, I mean, can't really think of one specific thing off the top of my head, but some of it is just kind of like, oh, that was weird and random, and then at the same time, it's like it makes you wonder what's going through the kids' heads because you're trying to get them to focus on one thing, and yet they're talking about something that happened like months ago or that they're going to be happening. So yeah, so those are definitely the unexpected things, but definitely there's been a couple heartwarming things. Recently, this winter, I had one of my skaters ask if they could give me a hug.
Aww.
And it's kind of like that fine line, right? It's like, oh, that's definitely inappropriate, but you know, it's like totally innocent, and this child is still like, they're just so appreciative, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really nice.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and then I actually had one of my other skaters, I don't want to say any names, but a couple years ago, just going through like some mental health struggles. And then when I hear from the parent that skating is like one of the things that's getting them out of the house in the day, like that, because at the same time, you know, we were going through some things in our own family and stuff. So I just thought, you know what, there's always like, as a coach, you always strive to be like, you want to be that mentor or make an impact on somebody's life, or, you know, because for me, it's like when I think back to coaching, it's like, well, some are like, you know, you learn what not to do or what not to be, but there's definitely some things that stick with you, right? Yep. So that's definitely one thing that has stuck with me, and at the end of the day, if you can help one person, right?
Yep.
So, you know, whether or not you actually help one person or not, but that was something that definitely stuck with me as a, you know, this is, just makes you feel like you're making
That's
a
exactly
difference.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the one thing that has really stuck with me through this whole coaching experience. for
That's
me.
awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, and I think, yeah, you definitely got to take those kudos because,
Yeah.
you know, like even having a kid asking to hug you, right? Like
Yeah.
it just means that you have somehow touched their lives and they want to express that
Yeah.
back to you. And I mean, you know, like when you say it's, no, I don't remember what word to use. Appropriate or not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a child, and like you say, an innocent.
Yeah.
Just wanting to show their love and their appreciation, and to
Yeah.
be able to have affected somebody like that,
Yeah.
to me is
To have impact,
is
right?
so important. Like it's just anytime we can affect other people's lives, I think is a good thing.
And of course, it's always nice when you see somebody randomly outside of the rink, like in the grocery store or on the street or whatever, and they're always like, "Hi,"
Yep.
or "I know you," or "You coach me at the rink," or what. It's always very cute. So it's those little things that I like.
And I think it's important to say that for every time that somebody says it out loud to you, you've probably had the same impact on 10 or more other kids, right? Like that you don't even realize,
Fair
right?
100%, yeah.
So I think that,
Yeah.
you should take a lot of pride out of what you
Yeah.
do. And I mean, I think about how you handled Alistair in skating, and he can be a real dick. Like, I'm going to be real. But, like, even that, like, he never complained about going to skating, only complained about doing figure skating moves, right?
Yeah.
But he always wanted to go, appreciated it, how you treated
Yeah.
and spoke to him.
I think
So-
he liked to come and challenge me.
Oh, that's his
probably
niche.
He probably laid in bed at night the night before thinking, what can I come up with to say to her? Because trust me, there was, I don't know if I think I actually told you, but my husband watches hockey all the time, and we were watching Chicago Blackhawks, like Connor Bedard. So there's, that was his first year in the NHL, and all the kids are like Connor Bedard, everything, right? So anyways, he had like this amazing goal doing C-steps, which is one of the elements that we work on. And prior to this, like, Alistair was not having it. Like, this is figure skating, not doing this. So we're sitting there watching hockey. I'm like, Steve, you need to back this up. I need to record this. And then I couldn't wait on Tuesday. I'm like, Alistair, I got this video to show you. I'm like, do you know what he's doing? And Alistair, I don't know if you guys had watched the game or if he maybe seen a highlight or something, but he's like, yeah, that was an awesome goal. I'm like, but what made it even more awesome was like his footwork that he was doing before he scored, right? So yeah, always something into a hockey analogy, and Alistair would be
awesome.
hooked.
And that's a
Yeah.
really great example of
Yeah.
what you bring to your coaching.
Yeah.
So glad we
Absolutely.
could share that. So we're all busy. I mean, everybody sees themselves as a farmer, incredibly busy, right?
Sorry, Bernie.
So what are some of the realistic ways for people to get involved without feeling too overwhelmed?
I mean, everybody functions differently, right? But for me, and from what I see at the end of the day, just showing up and being consistent. So if you say you're going to do something, or if you're sitting around and you've got all these ideas, but you don't help to make it come to fruition, then essentially you may as well not even have been there, because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's great, but it's like, so you're just essentially passing more work onto somebody else, kind of thing, right? So, I mean, look at the struggles that we had looking for board supervisors. For the last 2 years, haven't had to worry about it, because Angie started just being consistent, and it's not always about giving like hours and hours and hours of your time. It's the little things. I think Karen mentioned in one of her other episodes about decorating. Like, we're not asking for you to come there and do the whole plan and all these other things. Like, that's definitely I can't think of the word right now. Like, you're not gonna ask somebody to go do that, right? But it's, what's that saying? Like, many hands make
Oh,
a
yeah,
light
light
work,
work.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So it's just being consistent and showing up, because it's not always about the planning or the cooking, or because, I mean, there's all those things that we get ourselves into, and it's just, so that's kind of my one thing, is just try to be consistent.
I like that. I think that's
Yeah.
good.
That's awesome.
And I mean, for a community like ours, where there's so many people coming in and out, I think that your reason for starting is a good way too. So if people want to get to know people
Yeah.
in town, there's always a need for hands, right? There's
Yeah.
always something going on. So, yeah.
And I always find the whole volunteering thing is almost kind of backwards. It's like, those of us that are volunteering right now, we're in like the prime of raising our families, the prime of our careers. It's like nobody's got any time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've got all these people who are retired.
Sitting
I'm
around.
not saying they're just sitting around, but it's like, if you think
What do you have
about
against
it,
retirees,
yeah,
Becky?
I don't want to keep mad at us, Becky. But if you think about it, it's like, they've all been through this.
Yeah.
They know what works, what doesn't work, how to do this. So it's like, why don't you run these programs, and then when our kids are done with it, then we'll step in and run these programs, and then but I don't know, I've always looked at it that way, and I thought, it's always the people that are super, super busy that are trying to make
Well,
things
if you want
happen,
something done,
right?
you give it to the busy person, right?
Yeah.
But it would take a generation to start that, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, to your earlier point, you got involved in a lot of things up here because your kids were in it,
Yeah.
right? So you want to see it succeed. You're willing to give that time to make it work, right? And it's the exact same thing for me. I volunteer in the things that my kids are in, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. There's got to be a balance, though, because the other thing that happens is it's the same people who are always volunteering, and then you burn them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You know, Chris had mentioned, I think it was last year, Hydro had brought, they had, I don't remember what it was, if it was a safety day or something, and there was one of the fellows who lived here and retired, and they came back to give a speech
yes.
about retirement, you know, life after retirement kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he said for him, which Chris really took, was that he's like, you have to have something to do. You like, and for him it was volunteerism, and I think he was really involved with his Legion or something else. I can't remember what Chris had said, but Chris was like, it really struck a chord with him.
Yeah.
In that, like having that something to do, but and it not having like something that'll bring you joy, right?
Yeah.
And-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. So that's the end of our real questions, like serious questions. So
okay.
want to thank you for taking the time to answer those and going through. Like, I think it's just so nice to be able to put a spotlight on people in the community that are doing great things, right? So thanks for
Yeah,
that.
Thanks for asking me.
And so now that people at home might remember our 2 random questions for Brenda, so that's something we're going to continue doing with all of our guests. So I will start with mine because I'm going to assume Karen's not quite ready with
No, let me grab my phone.
Okay, so my random question for you, I don't know if this is going to land, so we'll see. Were you a follower of Erica Kane from All My Children, Marlena Evans from Days of Our Lives, or forget that, Passions was where it was at?
I'm gonna say it was actually Marlena.
Oh, is it
Evans
Marlena?
From Days of Our
Okay.
Lives, so that will probably tell you that I was a follower of Marlena Evans.
Was that before or after she was possessed by the devil?
Oh, you stole my question!
Peanut gallery. For those of you that may not have heard,
Yeah.
my husband Chris wanting to know if that was before or after she got
Possessed.
possessed by the devil.
Oh,
Which
that was so good.
How long did that go on for?
A long
I
time.
didn't even watch Days of Our Lives, and I knew
I'm
that was
gonna
going
say
on
I had
forever.
to take a time out when that was going on because I'm just like, I just can't. I don't do
Just can't.
the whole whatever that is, call it sci-fi, fantasy. I don't know what you're gonna call that, but yeah. But the whole this is funny because my grandma used to watch Days of Our Lives and Young and the Restless.
This is how all these
Yes.
stories
Yeah,
start. Yeah.
yes, yeah. And John Black. You know that look did you guys ever watch it? Like, you know that look he
YNR,
would
I
always
didn't
do?
watch
Like the whole
YNR.
side of his face would be straight and he'd be very stern looking and yeah, Steve used to try to imitate it all the time and it's like, please stop doing that.
That's fantastic. I love how, though, when people talk about soap opera, it almost always goes back to your grandma or your mom, and they were watching them during the day. Like, I remember being sick, and I would stay at my grandma's house, and it was like Price is Right in the morning, followed by the news at noon, and then, it was like Days of Our Lives, or not Days, sorry, we were All My Children family,
yes.
so.
Like I was still recording Days of Our Lives when I was going to college. Like I couldn't wait to get home and watch my Days of Our Lives. And then at some point in time, I kind of stopped. I think it just got too far-fetched for
Wow.
me. And then I kind of moved on to Young and the Restless. And then, I mean, my sister always used to watch my grandma. It was, so if it's not John Black, it's Victor Newman.
Victor Newman, that's who I knew, yeah.
Yeah, my dad, like mom and dad used to watch Young and the Restless, and I used to watch it with them. And then I remember dad would be like, he'd have to go around the house talking like Victor, you know. And I don't even remember what he said, but dad would be like, I don't even remember now. It's going to drive me crazy, but I remember dad always imitating him around the house, and I was like, oh god.
Like
Dad,
it still has to
you
be
know.
airing. Like
Oh, it
he
is.
still
It
has to
totally
be
is.
alive.
YNR?
Yeah, YNR is still going. Yeah.
Really?
Just start
Yeah.
PVRing it
Yeah,
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
just
come
to
back
catch
in a
up
couple
and-
episodes
I
and fill
remember
us
my
in.
Because they'll be able to. It's
Yeah,
just
oh, same
you could
people
miss-
married.
You could miss 4 months and I'd be like, oh yeah, great.
That makes sense.
Meanwhile, when you're in it like every day, it's like, oh my god, like I can't miss an episode.
Well, I know, and then it's not moving fast enough, right? I'm just like, come on. Passions had that little little
Who's the little
person.
person?
I was gonna say the little person. Oh my
They a
god.
doll?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I have to say this because I
His
remember
name was
you-
Timmy, by the way.
Yes.
Because I might have watched that briefly.
That's awesome.
I remember when Young and the Restless. So we came to Canada, obviously, when I was a teenager, and I got to know Young and the Restless through Bonnie, my friend, who I'm still really good friends with. And Bonnie's listening, so shout
Hey,
out to
Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
And so she had introduced me, I think her mom and dad, I don't even know. But anyways, I never will forget Bonnie saying, you know, I remember when Victoria was born, Victoria went away to boarding school and came back older than me. It's just, it happened with all of the
Yeah.
kids.
Well, you need them to grow up because
Would
they
that
need to
actually
start
be a dream
dating.
If you could send your own, like I mean,
Oh.
I
my
just said how
God.
much I love kids, and I'm sitting there thinking, I could send those away to boarding school.
Have them come back functioning adults.
Yeah, that would be so good.
At what age is that?
Yeah, no doubt. Out of curiosity, so I know Coronation Street
Yeah.
is big over there. What other did you have similar daytime soap operas?
There weren't as much daytime that I remember. Like evening, like Coronation Street, Emmerdale Farm, they were the British
The
ones.
EastEnders.
The EastEnders, yeah. Ireland had Glenroe was an older one. Okay, so if you listen to the little reel that I did for highlighting the Irish
yeah.
trip, that was the intro of the Glenroe music. Yeah.
Ah.
Oh no, wait.
Oh my
Forget it.
God, such a liar.
The first time I did it with Glenroe, but I couldn't get a good audio, so I ended up doing Marina
So
Waltz.
full of crap.
Glenroe is so good though. But anyways, yeah, and then there's My Fair City is a big one as well. But we used to get a lot of, and I think I mentioned this before, Canadian and Australian ones.
yeah.
So Home and Away was a really big one. That's an Australian one that was just, it was massive in Ireland. Yeah, I could probably still sing the theme song of it. Like, and that was what, 30 years ago? Yeah, I could. I'm not going to. Because I'm like,
That's a special treat, we'll
Yeah.
say, for our
Yeah.
listeners. All right.
We think all these
Yeah,
things are treats.
nothing's
for our
a treat.
listeners. Yeah. Okay, I'm supposed to ask a question. Do you remember what
Yeah.
I said I was going to ask?
No, you never told me.
Damn it.
Well, that question was an easy one.
Yeah, these ones aren't skill
Ooh, they're
testing.
fun.
You
Yeah.
can't fail these questions.
Oh, yes, yes.
I have to say before you ask this question, I'm impressed with how much TV, music songs, people's names that you remember. Like I don't have the space for that in my brain. It's like play the song and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that song. Ask me who sang it and what year it came out. It's like that's kind of useless knowledge a little bit.
Oh,
And-
it for sure is. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So
Have you seen that commercial? Jennifer Aniston was on it where they were asked if she met, I think it was Matt LeBlanc or one of them from Friends, and she was like, "Hi, how are you?" And he's like, "I'm."
Oh,
I'm
David
good."
Schwimmer. It's,
Yeah,
yeah,
David
yeah.
Schwimmer, and she didn't know who he was because she only has so much room in her brain to remember stuff, and she was dropping all the non-essential stuff. I'm like, that's genius. Yeah, I really like that one. Okay, so my question was, would you rather, and I don't know, do your kids do this to you all the time? Would you rather random questions? Like, they ask me ridiculous, would you rather do this or be that, right? Do your kids don't do that? God, I get that.
Abby- or no,
I feel
Alistair
like that might
does.
have been an Abby thing, but the boys are kind of in that phase where they just want to come home, leave me alone. Like I don't want to talk to you. You're not
Okay.
cool.
That's fair.
You know, because we were all born under a rock and just come out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So my question is, and it's kind of, I got inspiration from them, was would you rather never have to sleep or never have to eat?
Ooh, mind bender.
And why?
Oh,
Well, I mean, your listeners can't see me, so clearly I like
Oh,
food.
please.
But it's like there's just
I
so many
saw
good
you
things.
doing planks with the kids, so you can just back right off there. That like body image thing, that's mine, right? Like, I'm the pudgy one at the table.
oh, please.
She's being far too kind. I don't know. I mean, there's so many good things that happen around food.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna say I would go without sleep because I often say like I wish I had a few more hours in the day.
Yeah.
And I like socializing and I like to eat food. So yeah, I'm gonna say I go with without sleep.
I think you nailed that one. I
yeah.
think you nailed it.
I'd be
Yeah.
with you too. Don't get me wrong though, I love sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I just spent the entire day in bed on Sunday, so I
Yeah,
really
but it's-
need a little extra. But
It's not that you don't get to, it's just that you don't have to.
True, yes.
Right?
yes.
So if you want to cozy in and get some sleep, you
Yeah.
can. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I would agree with you big time on that one.
yeah,
Because I don't like how I act when I don't get enough sleep. Very cranky when I don't sleep. So,
I remember when we were selling our house before we moved here, and we had a sudden like person saying they wanted. We weren't really. We just kind of threw it out just to get some feelers, like privately. And then all of a sudden, the next day, somebody was coming to view it. I'm like, I'm not ready for a viewing. And I remember Chris and I like doing some cleaning and tidying and whatnot. But I'm like, oh my god. So I ended up. He was like, well, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna finish this and I'll be back in 20 minutes. I stayed up all night cleaning the house, and then Chris gets up and I'm still up, and he's like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, it's clean now, it's clean. And then I went to work and I was just like vibrating.
oh my god.
That's ridiculous.
That's intense.
yeah.
That's a
I
commitment.
mean, I've had moments like that too. Not selling house, but I used to be extremely like no one could come in my house if my house was not in order. I didn't grow up that way, so I don't know where or why that began. But I can honestly say in the last couple of years I've tried to relax. My family probably wouldn't agree with that, but I've tried to relax a little bit, and now I just don't, you know what, if you come over, like come in, I don't care. This is just how it is, you know?
It's lived in.
So
right?
it is,
That's a
Yeah.
healthy thing. I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
healthy because, like, if we spend our lives, and I don't get me wrong, I love it when I would get a text from somebody, hey, I'm dropping by, you know, in an hour. It's like, oh, great. So that kind of motivates me to quickly pick up and tidy up a little bit. But no, if you're a friend and you're coming in, if you're a good enough friend, you're not going to judge me, and if you are going to judge me, you're not a friend I care about.
Yes.
So
No,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So a couple weekends ago, we had invited some friends over for supper, and like I'm mad cleaning the house, and my husband says like, I don't know why you invite people over to the house because like nobody can actually stand you. He didn't quite say it like that, but that's what he was implying. And I'm like, because then we actually clean the house.
This
Like,
is how this
if
works.
I don't do it, it'll be like, well, you know what, that laundry is going to still be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the little dog hairs all over the floor are still going to be there tomorrow. So this way it kind of forces me to do it a little bit. And
It's a
I
hard
mean,
deadline.
it's not perfect by any means, but
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, Angie knows because I this morning I woke up. I went to bed. I wasn't feeling good last night. I went to bed really early and had some tummy issues. I don't know if it was something going around or if it was my journal or whatever. But anyways, I went to bed really early. I was upstairs by 7, I think, and. Yeah, and so then I woke up this morning, my alarm went off, and I'm like, oh, I'm just still wrecked. I didn't feel like moving. I wasn't sick, I was just wiped out. So I stayed in bed, and then Chris got up, and he's like, are you sleeping in this morning? And I said, yeah, because usually I'm long gone before him. And then I woke up about 7:30, 7:45, and I was like, you know what? I've got tons of vacation time. I don't have any meetings today. I'm just gonna. So I shot a text to my team, and I'm like, I'll be at home if you need me. I'm just gonna take care of some stuff here. And it was nice. I puttered, I tidied up a little bit. I actually, I don't know if it's the first time. I don't know if I want to admit that was the first time, but I used the self-clean button on my oven. 'Cause,
Nice.
Kate had made a strawberry upside down cake and it didn't seal well, so I tell you what. But yeah, and it was just nice. I just kind of puttered and it was
Those are
a
good
good
days.
day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that self-clean function on an oven is like genius.
Bees
Whoever made
knees.
that is genius.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. What?
Nothing.
You're just looking at me like I should say
Holy
something.
No. I'm
Okay.
actually looking at you like to shut her down.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's fair. That's fair.
All right. So that's really the end of our questions. I think maybe we'll just take a break there and we'll come back and we can
Wrap her up.
wrap her up. Looking for something truly unique? Discover Fuse Muse Fused Glass, where art meets light in dazzling color. From fused glass supplies to one-of-a-kind materials for glass artists and mosaic makers, we bring your creative visions to life. Jewelry makers, artists, and mosaic lovers stand out with our exclusive designs. Shop online today at www.fusemusefuseglass.com. That's www.fusemusefuseglass.com. Or visit us on Instagram and Facebook for inspiration. Fuse Muse Fuse Glass, where creativity shines. Welcome back to Two Bored Ladies. So I guess maybe just a quick summary or wrap up, we were fortunate to have Becky, or as we say at the rate, Miss Becky, join us today and talk a little bit about volunteering, how she's participated in the community, why it's important to her. And then we asked some ridiculous questions, I think, which were fun. But I'm really excited. Like, that time went by so fast.
Really fast,
So
yeah.
we had originally planned to have 2 people, and there's no way we would have been able
Yeah.
to. So thank you, Tara.
Yeah, for forgetting about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that
Well,
worked
I
out
mean,
perfectly.
In Tara's
Yeah.
defense, she's got how old is that? 7?
Grade
think
1,
seven.
so yeah.
So she's
Yeah.
got 3 under 7.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how Tara
I'm not
functions.
defending her
Yeah.
though, so. Love you, Tara.
I'm
Okay.
I'm defending Tara.
3
Sorry.
and the cute kids too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty
Oh my God,
freaking
they're
adorable.
So yeah, so we're here to wrap it up, and I just want to say it is still snowing, and I'm not happy.
I've got to
I'm not
drive
happy at
tomorrow.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, on that note, I think we're going to let our special guest walk us out with our goodbye in another language today.
Oh yeah. I forgot what I was saying. I think it's in Portuguese, and I think it's ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, bella.
Or is that Italian?
You might have just ruined it. No, I don't know.
All right, we'll look it up
All
and
right,
we'll get
yeah.
back to you.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, thanks everybody for listening. What's
Hey,
up?
listen, there was something I was supposed to look up in the previous episode, and I said I'll look it up and I'll get back to you, and I did.
Uh-huh. So tune in next week when
Oh.
Karen brings to
Whatever
us
it is.
whatever it is she looked up.
Okay, I'll look it up and remember next time. Okay.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
Ciao.
Like a wave, hatch plans that we'll never see. Frozen hair and a frosty kiss. In the ice, our secrets twist. Talking about dreams.